Here's Johnny.
Take your stinking paws off.
Be cool. Be cool.
You fools! You're in danger! He's alive! He's alive! Wait, 21 gigawatts! Hallelujah! Holy shit! You believe this?
Jack burnt me.
Won't do any good to run, girly boy. Stop it!
Hey movie lovers, and welcome back to the Lucid Nightmare. I'm your host as always, Jay Schatzer. And today, well, as you can see, it's a collection video, and the scenery looks a little bit different from last time I did one of these videos, probably 2 months ago, which I apologize for. But the reason for this is because my life has kind of changed a lot. Still in the same house, but now my movie room slash collection is now in like the dining room area. My girlfriend moved in and a few of her kids came too, so we kind of rearranged the rooms. My movie room is now one of her daughter's room, and we're redoing the attic, and it's just been pretty hectic. But that's kind of why I've been AWOL for the last 2 months, because I had a lot on my plate, and yeah, a lot of life changes. But as you can see, I put a bunch of reviews up recently, so I'm back in the game, back in it to win it. So I just figured I'd do another collection video and kind of go from there. I know the last time I did a collection video that I finished off the horror movie collection, but there's been a few additions since then, and yeah, so let's go over these few additions. Honestly, I am hoping I'm not covering the same movies that I did before, because I'm struggling to find out where the new movies were left off at. So if I repeat any, please forgive me, but I'm hoping that these are all fresh and you haven't seen them before. So let's just dive in, because I'm rambling, but here we go. Let's go. Dive in. So, up first is a very interesting collection of movies, 2 pairs. I actually watched the one recently, probably like last month, and I did not watch the sequel yet. But it is what the heck is it? The Night Stalker and the Night Strangler. You don't want any glare off of these guys, but I picked these guys up a while ago and didn't get a chance to show them off in any of the videos because of all the changes here at the household. But yeah, I've been meaning to watch these ones for a long time. Heard good things about them. I've read a lot of cool reviews on it, and so far Night Stalker is the one that I watched. Really good stuff. This one's about a well, the detective guy is in Las Vegas, but what's that guy's name? Is it Kolchak? Yeah, Kolchak. I was gonna say it, but I wasn't sure if it was him or not. Kolchak, but he's I guess he's a detective in Las Vegas, and he stumbles upon this mystery about a vampire, or I guess killings that resemble a vampire, and he's trying to get the story to the press, because he's a writer, and he's pretty much trying to expose what's going on. Now this one I have not seen, don't know much about it, didn't really read up on it, but I figured I'd pick up the 2, because why not? Kino Lorber put out some pretty good editions in these, and they look crisp, clear, in HD on Blu-ray, so really cool addition to the collection. I like the first movie, so hopefully the second one carries it on. The main guy that plays Kojak is Darren McGavin, and you might remember him from A Christmas Story, the amazing classic Christmas movie. But yeah, he's a total smartass in this one, and I assume in this one too. Yeah, he's just really cool, laid back. It's got a different style too. It's more of a thriller kind of based film, but definitely horror elements to the Night Stalker. I always get these names messed up. That's why I keep looking at the cases. So I'm assuming the Night Strangler has to do with maybe a serial killer or something, but who knows? I'm interested to find out. But let's move on to the next movie, and this one is a damn oddity. I watched it with my friends, I'm gonna say like 4 or 5 years ago on one of our Monday night viewings, and I remember thinking it was kind of silly, but I kind of got a better appreciation for it over the years, just watching other people's reviews on YouTube about the movie, and it's just kind of weird. It's got a lot of weird elements to it, and kind of the behind-the-scenes story about the film is really interesting too. But the movie I'm talking about is The Pit! The Pit! The Pit! I mean, just from the cover alone, you can see that this movie is just weird as hell. And, I mean, if you've, delved into YouTube world on people's movie reviews, you might have stumbled across this one. Some of the guys that I watch normally, they covered it one day, and it's just a ridiculous flick. Some funny lines, hilarious situations, a pretty demented premise overall, and the characters are really interesting too. So it's really a cool flick. I saw it was for sale at one of the Kino Lorber sales months ago, and picked it up because I remember how awkward my first viewing was with it, and figured I'd give it another chance after kind of gaining an appreciation over the years of seeing other people's reviews and their appreciation for the film. But yeah, I mean, just to summarize it up a little bit, this little kid hears voices, and the voices are coming from his teddy bear, pretty much, and it tells him to just do crazy shit. All of a sudden, he stumbles in the woods. There's a pit with little troglodytes, these little creatures inside it, and he pretty much just feeds random people. Sometimes, mostly it's people that piss him off, but he just feeds random people to this pit, to those monsters. And it's hilarious, and like I said, really, really weird. One of the funniest scenes is him just pushing Grandma in a wheelchair right off into the pit. It's ridiculous. So if you like that kind of ridiculous cinema that's kind of horror movie-ish, but still just kind of obscure as hell, this one's definitely one to pick up or just check out if you get a chance. Really weird. Glad I added this oddity to the collection. Alright. Next one is kind of a blind buy because I've never ever heard of this film before. But Vinegar Syndrome put it out, and it just sounded like a pretty cool premise. Just really sleazy, really shitty, sleazy kind of grindhouse flick. And the movie I'm talking about is Massage Parlor Murders. And from what I can gather, it is just a movie about a guy kills women at massage parlors and men and just anyone that gets in his way, and it sounded like a cool premise. Just like the cover alone looked pretty nifty, and yeah, you really can't go wrong with Vinegar Syndrome flicks. Anything that they put out is pretty decent, or at least worth a look. And this was damn cheap, so I was like, what the hell, I'll give it a look. So maybe someday I'll sit down, check it out, see what it's all about. But it definitely looks like sleazy fun. And yeah, it's a DVD Blu-ray combo, which is always nice. But yep, that is Massage Parlor Murders. Don't know much other than the title and the kind of vague premise I just gave you. But if anyone's seen it, just let me know what you thought about it. I'm really interested to hear something about it because I don't think I've ever seen anything online about that movie. But let's move on to a movie that a lot of people have seen, and a series that is legendary. It's a movie that is synonymous with Halloween, the holiday, because, well, it's titled Halloween! It's the newest one that came out, I believe it was last year. I don't know. This time just blurs together. I don't even know what year it is today. But yeah, I saw this in theaters probably the first week it came out. I wasn't really blown away by it when I saw it in theaters. I saw it, I thought it was decent enough, but I think that I've seen so many Halloween sequels and that I just kind of got numb to it. But definitely better than the Rob Zombie films. Those ones are just so damn grating. The characters are just sleazebags, assholes, and just potty mouths. Damn potty mouths. But yeah, this one, well, kind of back to basics. They ignore every sequel ever made and just go straight from the original. They throw out the whole concept of Jamie Lee Curtis's character being Michael Myers' sister. So they kind of just go back to square one. Even though I love I love the first movie, but I love the second movie. I think it's a really good sequel. I like the elements that they add to it. But even if they scratch all that for this movie, it was still interesting. I didn't really get a holiday, like the season of Halloween vibe off of it too much. I don't know what. Maybe I was just being a dick that day, but I picked it up because it was, you know, a decent flick, and I'm definitely going to give it another go because I love the Halloween series, and I don't know why it didn't tickle my fancy the first time. But maybe I'll watch it in the coming days right before Halloween, the holiday. See what I think this time around. But, yep, guys, that is the most recent Halloween movie. I don't even remember who directed this movie. It doesn't even say. Who cares? Whatever. Whatever. But let's move it on to a beloved classic of mine that I have been holding off picking this one up because there was an announcement that I can't even remember what group is putting this one out, but they're going to put out a new 4K resolution, all the bells and whistles kind of thing. And every time there was an update on it, it would be pushed back another year or another year. And I'm like, well, it's never going to come out, so why don't I just pick this up? It was at a hefty price. This is months ago. But I picked up one of my favorite flicks on Blu-ray because I have it on DVD in various forms. It is Dawn of the Dead. And I know a lot of you have probably been following the company that's going to be putting out the Blu-ray. And I'm sick of waiting. I'm just sick of waiting for this Blu-ray transfer to come out. So I figured I'd pick out the out-of-print one by, I believe this is Stars and Anchor Bay. Yep. And just picked it up because I was like, forget it. I just can't take it anymore. I can't take the wait. I'm impatient. And I saw this at used movie store in town for a hefty price. And I said, screw it. Screw it. Screw it! I picked it up because this is one of my favorite zombie films. Love the whole mall setting. And George Romero is just a badass. I just watched... I actually, for some reason, this is like probably the only George Romero movie I have not seen, and it was The Dark Half. And I watched that last night, I believe it was, or it was 2 nights ago, I don't know. But yeah, I watched it last night, and I really liked it a lot. I thought the characters were cool, story was interesting, and it's a Stephen King adaptation, so yeah, it's really cool. But Dawn of the Dead, boom, boom, Blu-ray, forget it, you know? I don't know what that company's name is. If anyone remembers the company's name, put it in the comments. But yeah, when it comes out, I'll eventually grab this new 4K resolution, bells and whistles edition. But until then, whatever. I'll just get this one because it's been sorely missing in my collection, and I've had the DVDs. Oh, where the hell are they? Oh, this is embarrassing. Oh, here it is. I've had these this awesome edition. It has like every single version of the film. There's like 4 different cuts, I think, and it's a cool edition, the ultimate edition, but I want it on Blu-ray and I wanted it now, so that's why I picked it up and added it to the collection. But next up, man, I got quite a few more to go through, so I should probably quicken these up. This one is probably more categorized as a science fiction kind of flick, but has a hell of a lot of horror elements, a lot of hallucinatory junk in there. And the movie I'm talking about is Altered States. Now, I don't know if a lot of people have seen this movie because it's not really talked about at all. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting kind of cerebral, mind-bending thing. I was going to say something else, but we got to keep it somewhat kid-friendly around here. But yeah, this movie is just a trip and a half. It's just pretty much follows a guy who is trying to... It's like sleep deprivation or some kind of thing where he's like seeing hallucinations inside like a secluded... I don't even know what you'd call it, but he does all these experiments and starts seeing things and opens up he starts altering his body. It's more of a body horror, I guess. It'd be along the lines of like a David Cronenberg flick is what it feels like. But it's directed by Ken Russell, so right there he's a really freaky director. So you should know what to expect if you know any of his flicks. But yeah, it's really, really cool. The lead guy was William Hurt is in the lead. He does an amazing job. He just really loses his mind in this flick. But if you haven't seen it, definitely just hunt down the trailer just to get a flavor of what it's like, and give it a view. Because I was going to do a review on this a couple of years ago. Never got around to it, but maybe someday I will get that going, because really is a cool flick. Not a lot of people have seen it, or at least talk about it, and it's really trippy. So that is Altered States. Boom. Now let's move on to a horror movie, but I would categorize this as an action horror. Action horror movie with a splash of comedy, because there's a lot of funny moments and the characters are pretty damn witty, if I don't say so myself. But the movie I'm talking about is Stephen Sommers' Deep Rising, and a creature feature. Yeah, it's a creature feature. It's pretty much is what it is. But yeah, this movie is just badass. It's a whole bunch of fun. I remember when it first came out. What year did this come out? 1998. So I was 18 years old when this came out. Saw it in theaters and thought it was a hell of a lot of fun. Yep, great cast. Treat Williams is amazing. He's a really, really good leading man in this. He's not really headlined a lot of films, but he does a great job in this one. And Famke Jensen, is that how you say her name? I always think I'm messing it up. But yeah, she's super hot in this one. So, yep, it's a really, really cool flick. And I believe this is after she did Goldeneye. So she was on the map after Goldeneye and then made this little actioneer. But really cool film. Great cast all around. The whole cast is really great. Yeah, fun film. Deep Rising. And I know probably people have seen this film and know what it is, so I don't really have to explain it too much, but it's pretty much a creature feature where something attacks this big ocean liner that has hundreds of people on board. But yeah, I don't want to give too much away if you haven't seen it, but really fun, silly stuff. Yeah, it's like a popcorn movie. Really, really fun. A lot of horror elements and things like that. So check it out if that sounds up your alley. But up next, what should we do next? Let's do this little sweet number. It is a movie that I already had before, up there somewhere, but I upgraded to Blu-ray because I love this director and I love his flicks, so I want them looking fantastic. And I didn't even know they had a good HD transfer of this film until I just stumbled upon it at a sale. And the movie I'm talking about is Murder Rock. That is a Lucio Fulci flick, one of his later films, but definitely one of my favorites just because the main tune gets stuck in your head like crazy. But I actually reviewed this one a couple of years ago, so if you're interested, check out the channel for Murder Rock. It is up there, but it's kind of yeah, killings are happening at a dance academy, and yeah, and it's pretty much just like a mystery giallo kind of flick where they're trying to figure out who the killer is before more people die, and it's just really, really cool. It's got a lot of style to it. Definitely has a rockin' soundtrack, and I just really like it. It's got a good cast of characters too. It's a nice little whodunit giallo, Italian giallo, but yeah, if you haven't seen it before, interested about it, love Lucio Fulci flicks, definitely check out the channel for that review. And really glad to be upgrading this Blu-ray, which I didn't even know existed. I don't even know who put this out. Scorpion Releasing. But yep. Sweet! So that one is upgraded. I only have a few more to upgrade, I think, of Fulci's. Well, maybe more than a few, but Lizard in a Woman's Skin, The Black Cat, Don't Torture a Duckling, and I think, well, and the New York Ripper. Anything else I don't think I'm going to upgrade, but those are the ones I need upgraded. This one's out of the way. Boom, Murder Rock. But next up, is another Fulci great one. This one is one that nobody really talks about because it's not one of his usual horror films. Not a lot of gore, not a lot of like murder or horror elements. It's more of a kind of a psychological thriller, kind of along the lines of Hitchcock, with a little Edgar Allan Poe mixed in there. But the movie I'm talking about is The Psychic. It also goes by The Seven Notes in Black, I believe it was. I own the DVD copy of that, and I always went by The Psychic, though, for the title. So, saw this one was available on Blu-ray for upgrade. Is that even focusing? I can't see from here. There we go. But, yeah. It is a wonderful, wonderful little... Yeah, it's kind of like a giallo light. Really, really not... It's a mystery. More of a mystery kind of film. But Scorpion Releasing put this one out also, and it's just really, really good. Jennifer O'Neill is the main woman in here. She is absolutely beautiful, and she does an amazing job in this film. Absolutely amazing. But like I said, more of a low-key Fulci film, more of a thriller, Hitchcockian thriller, kind of a murder mystery thing of who did what. So I don't want to give too much away because it really is a movie that you kind of just find out for yourself and really get into it. It's got a cool mood to it, really, really atmospheric. So check out The Psychic, also known as The Seven Notes in Black, which I don't know why that is the name of the title alternately, because it doesn't, I don't know if it makes any sense. I can't tell. I can't tell. But let's move it on. How many do we have here? A few more. Moving on to another film that I watched for the first time this year. I think it was actually last month. It is a kind of like an animal attacks film, which were all the rage in the 70s, I believe. But the movie I'm talking about is Grizzly. And this one it's a fun film, and the main reason it is so much fun is because of Christopher George in the lead role, and he is just on fire like usual in these movies. He's hilarious. They're pretty much there's a wild grizzly in a national park tearing shit up, killing people, massacring them, and they have to take it out. And so it's pretty much like Jaws on land, but with a grizzly bear. So if that's what you want, that's probably the best description of the movie. But it came out in the late 70s, got that late 70s style, and just altogether a fun animal attacks flick. I picked it up for super cheap, and don't own it on Blu-ray, so this is a totally new addition to the collection. I wish I would get Day of the Animals, because that's one of my favorite animal attacks flicks. That one is badass. But Grizzly is not too shabby either, so that is added to the collection. Next up is a movie I've never seen before. Just heard of it recently, so I don't know too much about it. Word on the street is that it's one of Quentin Tarantino's favorites, but what movie isn't? The movie I'm talking about is Werewolf Woman. So that is one hell of a weird cover. And I think that's the slipcase, and I think that's a totally different cover. Well, what do you know? But Werewolf Woman, I do not know anything about this. Ooh, got that right on there. I don't know anything about this movie, other than it looks like a lady is a werewolf by the title. But this one's put out by Rare Video, as you can see right there. Ooh. But yeah, like I said in other videos, if you see a Rare Video release, it's pretty much guaranteed to be at least interesting. I've never been disappointed yet by any of my editions that I have from them. And yeah, this one just looks like it's going to be interesting, strange, just like some of the others I picked up. What was that one I picked up? I just saw it. Damn it. Something like yeah, here it is. Well, this is a code red one. But it reminds me of this one, The Vampire's Orgy. It kind of has that same looking style to it. I mean, I saw this one. This movie's really, really strange, really cool. But it looks like it's giving off the same vibe as that flick. So hopefully it's got that same flavor. You can see some of the screenshots to get an idea of how cheesy it looks there. But yeah, it definitely looks like an atmospheric weird oddity that I am going to love to check out for the first time. Boom. All right, we got 2 more to go, so let's keep this train rolling. This one was one of my... When did this come out? Was this last year? I believe it was last year it came out. It was probably one of my favorite films of 2018. I think it was 2018. Was it 2019? My God, what year is it? Whatever. It was my favorite of the year. And the movie I'm talking about is Us. Now, how do I say it? Like, Jordan Peele is the director of this movie, but his first debut was Get Out, as everyone knows. And I did not see that one in theaters. For some reason, I didn't know if I'd like it or not. I checked it out on video or something like that long after it was out. And I actually liked it a lot. Thought it was cool, clever, funny, creepy, disturbing, everything. It just was a great combination that I think he did a really amazing job, especially for being his debut film. So I was kind of hyped for this movie. I saw the trailer. I didn't know too much to expect. It was just kind of like the typical looking doppelganger flick where a family's tormented, and I thought it was going to be an invasion home flick. And I don't really like those kind of films, but I was willing to give it a chance just to see what Jordan Peele did with this recipe, this kind of formula. Then I saw it and I was just blown away by it. The premise is simple at first. It's kind of that doppelganger story, but it kind of blossoms into this crazy apocalyptic kind of flick where I wasn't expecting. It was very, I guess the best way to describe it is very strange and weird. And the whole story, I'm not going to really say too much about the film, but the story is so strange and out there that you really can't just sit there and try to logically say, well, wait a second, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense, how is this even happening, this is impossible. You just have to go with it and just go on the ride, because it's a really, really cool film to kind of flow through. But if you sit back after it's done and try to logically go over stuff, there's going to be a lot of holes and a lot of stuff that just doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. But if you take it for what it is, just join the family in this weird, strange journey. You're gonna really, really have a great time. There's just so many interesting elements about the film that I could go on and on about. The music's amazing. That first main theme that's playing over the rabbit cages, it just sucks you in right in the beginning. And that Luna's I Got Five on It instrumental kind of dance number at the very end is just, it's really, really beautifully crafted and just an interesting film. So if you've been putting it off for some reason, just check it out. Go with an open mind. Do not go into it too serious and nitpick it to death, because you're not going to enjoy it then. You got to really just let yourself go and have fun. But the Us, awesome flick. Great, great cast of characters and interesting, weird story. But let's move on to the last one. I haven't been talking that long. Why does my throat hurt so much? But let's keep moving to the last movie. And the last movie is a movie that came out recently. I think it was like early this year or last year. I don't know. It is a sequel to a movie that I thought was amazing. And I was surprised because I thought it was just going to be a stupid modern slasher horror film. But this is Happy Death Day to You. And I just really loved every minute of this movie. I went to see it in theaters because, the first one's called Happy Death Day? I think. But yeah, I saw the first one when it was already released to Blu-ray and DVD. Because I didn't think it was going to be that good. Loved the hell out of it. Thought it had a hell of a lot of heart. So I was really, really stoked for the sequel. Went to go see it. I think I even made a video about it before I went to go see it, and loved the hell out of it. Had that same style and fun quality to it. Carried on over to the sequel with even more heart and more character depth. So yeah, I was actually really surprised by this film. So I was happy to pick it up, add it to the collection. Yeah, it's just really, I don't know. It's hard to describe this one. It's more like a Back to the Future kind of flick with all the elements from the first movie. So it's really, really interesting, really funny. Characters are great. Just a great fun film. So that's one of those fun modern horror movies that I like to pick up. I'm mostly into the old stuff, but I'll go modern if they know how to do it right with a little bit of fun and heart. But yeah, that is it for me today in this collection video. Yep, new kind of area. I don't know how long this area is going to be here, if we're going to move somewhere else. I don't know. But for now, I'm here in this corner with some of my movies. So hope you like that collection video. And I think next time we're going to be jumping over to the sci-fi finally, because I think that was the last of the horror movies. So, well, at least the horror movies that are on display. So guys, that is it for me today. Hope you enjoyed that collection video, and I hope you like what I'm doing here. If you do, please like and subscribe. And if you got time, leave a comment below about any of these crazy movies I showed you, and let me know what you guys think. But I will see you at the next movie review or collection video or whatever the hell I have in the works. So guys, take care, stay out of trouble, and get the hell out of my house. See ya!